You are live. 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 Vivek, sorry to disturb you. We are just running out of the time. If you can wind up your presentation. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vivek, for such a thoughtful presentation, such a knowledgeable session from your side. It's been an honor for us that you have given time to us for this phenomenally awesome presentation. Things, the insights that you have discovered, I think, and I hope that I'm sure that it will help our audience a lot. Thank you so much.
It's
And
my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
perfect. Vivek is here. If anybody of you want to ask any question regarding anything, just ask any question on the main chat. He will be here. He's here to answer your question. Thank you so much, Vivek. Thank
Surely.
you. Now we are moving towards our next presentation. This will be given by Michal, Head of Security Resilience, Cybersecurity Resilience from PWC. I hope you have enjoyed all the sessions. Now this is the last presentation of the session, and we will be going through it. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad that we can hear each other at this security conference. As we are expecting the baby soon, I have to record this session. Due to these circumstances, it's not possible to ask me the question. However, I'd like to challenge you to send me all your questions, ideas, or remarks via the email. The contact information will be shared in the end of this session, so thank you a lot. So let's start. At first, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Michal Čábela, and I'm leading the cyber resilience team here at PWC in Czech Republic. I'm a big fan of blockchain. However, I'm also the cybersecurity professional, and I can see many challenges that each implementation of blockchain in the organization brings. So that's why I've selected this cybersecurity topic at the blockchain. So, what is on the agenda? At first, we have the blockchain intro. Then I would like to show you a few use cases of blockchain in cybersecurity. Then I will show you some challenges from the cybersecurity perspective if you want to implement a blockchain. And in the end, I have one experience, my personal experience with not so great blockchain implementation in their organization. So let's start with the blockchain intro. Blockchain has been widely known thanks to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And I want to show you the different aspects that relate to the application of blockchain with the techniques commonly used in the field of cybersecurity. So first things first, and brief recap, what is the blockchain? As I have mentioned, everyone knows the Bitcoin. This is also the best known implementation of the blockchain, that's for sure. However, blockchain is much more than that, being seen as the service and structure behind the cryptocurrencies. Nowadays, in addition to cryptocurrencies, many other applications areas rely on blockchain technology, like the energy trading, health, supply chain, manufacturing, many others. So, the basis of blockchain, what is it? I don't want to spend much time on that, as I expect that nearly everyone knows it. However, it may happen that someone is not familiar with the blockchain, so let's jump into the helicopter view. And this is just the helicopter view. The blockchain is the chain of blocks, obviously. That is not a big surprise. Each block is basically the structure composed of the header, and a body. The body is containing the transaction, so it means the data we want to store in the blockchain, whatever data you want. All blocks are time-stamped, so you know when the block was created. The way these blocks constitute a chain is through the pointer to the previous block. The header of each block contains the cryptographic hash of the previous block, so it's chained together. It means that each block is linked to the previous one and the chain cannot be disconnected. I think it's easy. Not the rocket science. Still. And now, how these blocks are stored. It is the ledger of blocks that is distributed between the participants of the decentralized network without any central authority. The network is represented by the set of independent devices that act as the nodes of the network. In the public blockchain, all participants in the network keep a copy of the ledger. Here we have the copy of the ledger. It means that is something is to be, it means if there is something to be changed, it has to be changed across the whole blockchain network. So you are not able to change it here and not here, then it's not working. It's pretty easy, right? In the reality, it is a bit more complicated. However, for the purposes of this helicopter view, it's well enough, and I hope that everyone is familiar with blockchain. So what are the key benefits of this scheme? And this is the last intro slide. The transparency. All network participants share the same copies of the data stored in a blockchain. That shared version can only be updated through the consensus, which means that everyone in the blockchain network must agree on this change. To change a single transaction record would require the change of all subsequent records and the update of the whole network. So it's pretty difficult to change something in past retrospectively. It's nearly impossible or very costly. The enhanced security, second part. There are several reasons that blockchain is more secure than other record-keeping systems. Transactions must be agreed before they are recorded. After a transaction is approved, it's encrypted and linked to the previous transactions. And this, along with the fact that the information is stored across the network of nodes instead of a single server, makes it very difficult for hackers to compromise the transaction data. So it's much more secure. Traceability. This is also an important part. For instance, imagine that your business requires exchanging of goods. The traceability can be really difficult across the whole supply chain. When exchange of goods are recorded on a blockchain, you end up with an audit trail that shows where an asset came from and every stop it made on its journey. This historical transaction data can help you to verify the authenticity of assets and prevent the fraud. The last benefit are reduced cost. With a blockchain, with well-implemented blockchain, you don't need as many third parties or middlemen to make guarantees, because it doesn't matter if you can trust your partner or not. Instead, you just have to trust to the data on the blockchain. You also won't have to review so much documentation to complete the trade, because everyone will have the permission to access a single immutable version. So these are the benefits and a helicopter view for the blockchain. Let's jump directly into the blockchain use cases in cybersecurity. Let's see how the blockchain may be used for the pure security use cases and whether it is really so amazing technology that can save the world, or maybe not. I've selected 4 different use cases that may help you to understand, or that may be implemented. General's problem of false consensus. Fortunately, we have not enough time to talk about all parts. So the Byzantine general's problems. It's an interesting case how to communicate with remote sites, but right now we have no more time to spend on that. So I would recommend to elaborate on that independently. It's interesting theory. So the private blockchain networks, especially with the lower number of nodes, would need to ensure that their network is sufficiently distributed globally and resilient with no single point of failure on an organization or platform level to ensure continuous operation, even in the event of the natural disease or coordinated attacks. The less nodes you have in your blockchain network, the more you have to focus on preventing single point of failure. And the second and last one here is uncommunicative nodes. Another security concern in the establishing of network architecture is how to treat uncommunicative nodes. The nodes may go offline for various reasons. As I have mentioned earlier, it could be the natural disaster or something like that. But the network must be structured to function without the offline nodes. And it must be able to quickly bring these nodes back and up to speed if they are if they return. The way how to replicate the updated ledger into the fresh connected nodes may be tricky, as you can see in my next example. So that brings me into next chapter. That is my personal experience. So I'd like to share with you my not so positive experience with implementing of one, let's say, not named private blockchain that had an ambition to provide the trust and to provide trust commercially. I was asked to assess the CIA threat of this ecosystem, and it totally failed. The major issue was in the architecture of the ledger management. I have identified following vector attack and many others, but this one I want to show you here was the leading one. So the vector attack and the attack vector that allows the threat actor to change the whole ledger and therefore compromise the trust completely. So how the ledger works. 2 types of nodes are in the infrastructure, the standard and the privileged one. The only difference is that the privileged node is able to remove any node from the ledger on request. In case that the node is again mounted into the ledger, the one that was removed, it has to reload the last version of the ledger. This ledger is replicated from other nodes and considered as trusted. So if you remove one or make it passive, then it reloads the trusted ledger from the others. So far, everything works. What will happen if the threat actor come? So the attack vector is the threat actor is able to penetrate the privileged node. The privileged node, unfortunately, was not well secured from the application perspective and not located in a secure destination. So it was quite easy to penetrate the privileged node. then the infected privileged node can disconnect all other nodes for a while. So once every node is disconnected, the only trusted ledger is stored in the node that is infected. The others are outdated and will be removed. So we have only trusted ledger here at the infected node. The threat actor now is able to change the ledger at the privileged node, at the infected node. So the threat actor can do whatever he or she wants. The other ledgers in the network are passive and no more valid. So it means that all their data are lost. And only trusted, only valid ledger is stored at the infected privileged node. What's next? Then all nodes are reconnected back, back to the network. And this is the standard process that is managed at the node level. So it's something that is happening automatically. So all nodes are reconnected. Other nodes, or the standard nodes that were reconnected, has to replicate the last version of the ledger. And the last version is the one that was infected, the one here. So do you consider that this private blockchain is trusted? I do not, because this attack vector simulates how the threat actor is able to totally change the distributed ledger, and it was verified by the creator of this ledger and of this blockchain that it really works. So after this assessment, they totally changed the approach, and they were trying to fix that issue. So this was not my solitary experience with implementation of private blockchain. And every time there were similar problems with the security or operations. So a couple of words in the end. Implementing blockchain to the organization may be a trigger of your success or maybe of your fall. So always consider the blockchain solutions as the common application and require at least the same security measures as for the rest of the infrastructure. And always ask someone who understands blockchain a bit to assess whether the whole solution can be trusted, not only from the cybersecurity perspective. The operation issues may cause huge troubles, as I have presented to you right now. So please keep it in mind. However, the time is over, so I can only motivate you to contact me in case you have any specific questions. So feel free. I'm always happy to discuss the security of blockchain